Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Really develop your sexual discipline. Really develop it. I'm going to tell you what, that's the key. That's the key. You know what? A lot of guys talk about game and, let's be real. There's a major industry on men getting sex. Whether it's the, quote unquote dating coach industry or of course, you have many content creators, particularly on YouTube, whose audience is based on the reality that their fan base isn't getting sex, so that's still sexual related. And the whole sex industry, come on, that's based on sex. Everything, look, men want sex out here. Let's stop arguing about that part, right? But a key to a man really getting sex, ironically, and getting women and having some leverage with women, indeed, in some cases, even control over women, is sexual discipline. Understand something. There's a lot of talk about simping and, guys getting played, guys getting their money milked and everything. Look. That's because women have realized, really from the beginning of time, like from the first cave people, or people, in some small bands or something, the woman realized, hey, she can get food from this guy, just have sex with him. The man wants that vagina. He wants that for JJ. He wants that punani, right? And ain't nothing wrong. Look, that's nature, right? And see, a woman, the typical woman isn't stronger than a man, so she can say, hey, you know what? I can control him through this. I can manipulate him through this. And that's how a lot of men get played. That's how a lot of men are doing stuff. Why a lot of men, really strive, right? But a man can exercise control over his life if he has discipline. Basically, he controls his dick. It's interesting that, you get a lot of guys who try to see what pimps do to have influence over women and everything. They just got sexual discipline. They can say no. Or the guys that I label as Mr. Goodbar. A big part of why they get women is they don't chase them. They can look at a woman and say, nah, I'm good. I don't need it. Then the woman, she's like, oh, wait a minute. He's trumping my pussy card. That's what the woman's thinking. All of a sudden, she actually gets intrigued with the guy who ain't chasing her, who ain't throwing money at her, who ain't even trying to holler at her and stuff, spit that game at her, right? And it's like, boom. And see, here's the thing. The main thing with sexual discipline, if you control that primal need, it's primal. Let's just be real. It's primal. There's nothing wrong with that. If you can control that primal need and do what Napoleon Hill talked about in his landmark book, Think and Grow Rich, and transmute that energy, there's no place you can't go. In fact, you get everything from it, right? First of all, when you have that type of discipline, when you have that type of control over your penis, right? The thing is, for a woman, you become a challenge because it's a woman's nature to get that penis. Women want that sex bad. Now, when you let her know through your actions that you ain't trying to get with her particular one, or you got discipline, that manipulation doesn't work, and she can't put it off to you being gay because she'll see you hollering at another woman. You become a challenge, and then all of a sudden, the whole dynamic, instead of you trying to please her, she's trying to please you. She's trying to do some stuff. She's trying to seduce, and then you recognize it. You dealing with her on your own pleasure, right? And see, that's just dealing with the woman. But on a deeper level, and I've talked about this before, of course, I mentioned Napoleon Hill, people who've read his chapter on the mystery of sex transmutation. The same energy that a man might put into having, getting sex or something, if he put that into writing a book or he puts that into or any type of project, there's no place he can't go. Because when you're talking about that sex transmutation, and Napoleon Hill pointed this out, when men are turned on, when they got that lust, they develop skills they didn't know they had. And there's nothing wrong with it. And you know what? If you turn that energy around and say, okay, the same energy I'm like going for that one with the big old butt dunk. If I say, hey, I'm going to write this book or I'm going to get this business going, boom. But the key to it is you got to have control over it. Basically, your sex drive has to serve you. And you have to have the discipline. Now, see, understand something. There's a big difference between discipline and repression. See, many men repress their sex drive. They ain't controlling it. They repress their sex drive. You know, they try to shut it down. You know, they'll tell them, say, oh, sex is evil or something. Or maybe they went through a trauma or a bunch of other stuff. And then they'll think they have discipline, but they really don't. The energy's not flowing. No, true sexual discipline is like your sex drive is like a horse, a wild horse. And then you get in there and not only calm it down, but you ride that horse. So you still feel that sexual energy, but then you can put it into whatever you want to put it into. And then you have control where when you're dealing with a woman, she can't manipulate you, by, doing their things that they manipulate a man by. Right? Because you got control. Now, you still might be turned on. You still might look at it. It's like, damn, you want to back that thing up? But you got control over it. You decide where it wants to go. And that's very important for men. Like, one of the things in indigenous cultures, they would actually train men on how to do that. When they would, like, reach puberty and stuff, how to exercise their will over their sexual desires. One of the biggest problems we have now, a lot of men don't have control over their sex drive. It makes a decision for them. That's why you got some guys out here, they got kids and everything, right? You know? So it's like, boom. It's like, it's a power. Like, really work towards it. You know, and it's not as easy, especially in this culture, because we don't have specific training. But it's just like fasting. That's a great example. Fasting, our basic thing is to eat. Now, if you fast or you're real disciplined about eating at only certain times, that's a power in itself. And you just apply the same principle, because the urge to eat and the urge to have sex, it's a feeling. You know, you get that feeling, you feeling hungry and everything, you go get that food. But if you can control that urge and ride that urge or discipline it, maybe by intermittent fasting, maybe saying, okay, I'm only going to eat between 10 and 6, 10 in the morning, 6 in the evening, and you develop it, that's a discipline. You can do the same thing. You could say, okay, I'm going to control, when I feel that urge, I'm not going to exercise it just with every woman. I'm going to make the woman have to do something. That's a control thing, It's, and I give it to the people who are into no FAP. That's a control thing, right? And just real quick, I know some people call it semen retention. Semen retention, I'm always say this every time I bring it up. Semen retention is being able to have sex with a woman without ejaculating. That's true semen retention. No FAP is something different. So anyway, really develop your sexual discipline is very important. Is what it means to be a man, to have the will, the control, not over another human being, but over yourself. All right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.